As I suspected, 32 flavors.
Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry it took a while, had some technical difficulties, but we are all good. All is upswing coming up Millhouse, so I apologize for it. Usually I'm not used to, I guess you could say, pulling a Gary. That's usually not my speed. But every now and then, sometimes you have things that legitimately come up and you got to attend to them. And you know what? That's just the way the cookie crumbles. But welcome. Hello to all. And to all, good night. This is the 32nd episode of the Friday Night Comic Shop Talk.
32.
Yeah, right. We have hit the lucky 32.
A special issue.
Yes, a very special Liger fan. Christian Delorme, D. Bud Martin, Christian Delorme, Don Wadsworth. What's up, guys? Oh, hey. Hello, Dart Scipio. What's up, dude? Welcome to the channel. Philbo Baggins. You did make it on Keely Chow. Man, look at you guys rolling all up in here. Got Matthew Pounder. Hello, hello. Jesse. What's up, dude? About to share. Well, I'm glad to hear. Hopefully, we'll make this a nice talk during your shaving process, right? Jesse's awesome people. So, hey, Clobberin, what's going on with you, man?
Oh, not a lot, man. Just I was just talking to Iron Castle here. We were talking about a little bit of comics, which we will be talking about again soon. Just trying to make videos and stuff like that about comics, man. So.
Nice. Ironcastle, what's going on with you, dude?
Oh, it was great. I went and had my Thanksgiving. I got to sit back and read my comics while the family made food.
Nice.
What more could you want?
There you go.
No, I had a great Thanksgiving as well. And excellent. Family and all, we all went out to we went to the local area where they're getting the lights set up, and yeah, it was cold out, but that's typical of Illinois. But it was nice to be able to see the setup. It was a big old light spectacle, so it was really cool to see. And got home and had pizza as per usual, of course. So yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. It's to be expected stuff. What else did you expect at this rate?
So don't hold back there, Nick. Tell us about the pizza.
It was
you
good.
Got pizza for Thanksgiving?
Oh, that was no today. Tonight was the pizza. Oh man, now pizza was like available yesterday. Yesterday, believe it or not, it was a very traditional meal on the 32 side of the Thanksgiving aisle. It was I had potatoes and my brother had homemade gravy, which I went for. Doused the food in it. Went for some prime rib as well. Went for a little bit of turkey as well. Yeah, the prime rib was absolutely phenomenal. It was just nice. I was out of this world. I was in love with it. I was just like I didn't want to stop eating. And a few food comas were had. And I was like, oh man, I just want to go back and eat more. And then I had eggnog ice cream on top of it. And dude, I'm a sucker unapologetically for eggnog. But when there's eggnog ice cream, I become a much worse human being. Because of that, and that's fine by me. It's all about the ice cream, dude. It's all about the ice cream. So yeah, that was my meal. And I see, hey, Stuart Mitchell, Ruben Christopher Haynes, awesome one. What's up, guys? Hey, Rough Girl, what's up as well?
All right.
So, Ironcaster, we'll let you start off. Apparently, I caught a glimpse as I was getting my stuff situated that you had read some modern stuff that you were interested in talking about. Why don't you tell us about it?
All right. Well, let me switch the setup here. I was reading some modern Transformers. And IDW does a good job with the comic.
Oh, go on.
I gotta improve my leg for this.
No,
but we have a series here, King Grimlock.
Okay.
Sorry. Like I said, I gotta apparently get a top-down light for over here.
No, you're good, man.
This honestly feels like a metal cover just come to life. You got Grimlock, the robot dinosaur transformer. On a fantasy world. On a fantasy world dealing with wizards.
Yes.
Gotta have lizards. You gotta have lizards on the fantasy world, dude.
Yes.
But not only that, let me get the right page here. Fighting dragons.
Ooh.
Gotta have dragons too.
Right.
I mean, It's good work.
Yeah,
The art
it is nice. Yeah. It is
beautiful.
You've got a big giant lizard.
Yes, big monster.
Grimlock.
Kaiju going on there.
Right? Oh. All right. Put a hold on that. We're going to have to do a hold because Rough Girl sent some money. I guess she wants to see the legendary cinematic moment. Rough Girl for $5.55 and just leaves 555 there. Thank you, Rough Girl. Appreciate the 555. I appreciate that. Yes. Dark Scipio says great artwork. Welcome, sir. I'm glad you got to catch into the comic shop talking. This is your first time here.
Yes, Dark Scipio. Hail, the lovely roof girl.
Hey, Gomer Kyle.
Sorry. Yeah. I said rough. I'm sorry.
Hey,
Gomer. Golly.
How you doing, Gomer? Oh, we got a certain Pablo in the chat. All right, carry on, Ironcaster.
Pablo.
Say the line.
Hey, we got to see him do it this time. There must be like a special for this episode 32. He's revealed himself.
Yeah, I'm late for a
We're
good
late
reason.
too.
I had a choice between being here on time or having a reheated taco. And well,
do them both at the same time.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh yeah.
You're with Nick. You can eat.
Oh,
it's all about the food, man.
All about the food. So, Ironcaster, tell us more about these comics.
Honestly, this was one I picked up just kind of on a whim.
Okay.
It was one I wouldn't. I was kind of skipping over, but I was always kind of eyeing it up on the shelves. I like me some big robots, and it's a book all about Grimlock, and it looks to be he's on some alien planet with he was summoned there by some wizard.
Okay.
And he's having to deal with like an evil overlord. And it's a little bit kind of predictable for what you're going to expect out of it, but
yeah,
it was a lot of fun. You have Grimlock here like threatening down some wizard who winds up summoning big dragons to fight.
Nice.
Me Grimlock, not much of talking.
Yeah, that's it. That is good. That's nice art there. Yeah. Even that's coming from me, dude. So.
Right?
I hate all the modern stuff. I can't stand it, but I actually don't mind that at all. It's pretty cool.
So I'm gonna have to go pick up the rest of this series. This is a recommend.
Oh, you heard that, guys, in the chat. Ironcaster speaking about Transformers King Gridlock. I'm going to remember that one. Check that out. All right, before you carry on to the next book, Spall Time sent me some sweet money and... Small time for $2, says Nick Weiser, flavor number 22, Lori Lightfoot's leaky leftovers. Oh.
Wow.
Wow. That is
my goodness.
Yeah, I'm blown away. What's up, David Serta? You came in
David Serta. David Lopan.
By the way, straight to the chat. I'm sorry if I'm making you cry.
Yeah, Jesus. Pablo, good Lord, man.
Man, I had the munchies, and when it's time for a taco, it's time for a taco.
Oh, yes. Cowabung it is. Well, Ironcaster, what do you got next for us?
I'm only going to do one more here because most of the stack I still haven't got to reading yet, but this is basically a bunch of my picks for the week, for the last 2 weeks. I've just finally getting a chance to read some of them. So from Zenescope. Okay. Which we got to bring a little toxicity.
Oh, yes. Bring the toxicity on, my man.
Here, let's appreciate that for a moment.
The cover. Yeah, I'll zoom in on your cover. Let's get that toxicity all up in there. There you go. Yes. Toxicity. What's up, Philbo Baggins? I see you there in the chat. How you doing? Yes, we're all zoomed in now for your toxicity.
Yes. But we have the Goddess of Death. Wow, I really got to fix my lighting here. This is not good.
Who's your Goddess of Death in this one? It's not
all right. No, but they're kind of building up that in this part of the ongoing thing with the the universe of Grimm's fairy tales is that you have a series where all these different all these different bits of fairy tales. So like Oz and Neverland and Wonderland are all these other universes, or all these different little Earths that kind of bleed in from outside. And there's an element, there's a death for all of them. And this book is about, on the cover, the representation of death on Earth, on our world, where these lords of hell are trying to come together to escape that damnation that they're in.
Yes.
By resurrecting one who had all that power together.
Ooh, look at all those characters down there. Well, I like it. What's up, Man of War? I see you in the chat, Keely Chow. Look at some comics. Ooh, yes, this is the chill stream on Friday. It's the chill stream, so welcome. Oh, look at that toxicity. Yeah, there's that toxicity for the chat. There you go. See, this is what you guys came for. Ladies, too. This is what you guys came for. We all know. You
get plenty of blood and gore and lovely ladies.
They're very toxic. Very Ironcaster. Well done, my man. Well done. We all have the toxicity here. This is excellent. Excellent stuff.
The company Zenescope has been doing this for like the last 15, 20 years.
Okay.
And it's just all these comics involving, kind of dark, twisted takes on what were already fairly dark and twisted, fairy tale stories.
Nice.
And plus, every cover is going to have
toxicity to it. He's like, this is a modern comic, but he's not used to it. He's just like, what? this doesn't just happen.
Yes.
He's so shocked. He's almost baffled by it.
It's not mainstream, so that's the only reason why.
Liger fan here says, what's the book's title again? Goddess of Death.
The Goddess of Death. That's a one shot, but if you're looking to check out more of this stuff, Grimm's Fairy Tales by Zenescope. They have a lot of ongoing stuff where it's basically like a whole like kind of Marvel Comics universe of their own ongoing series. There's stuff involving the Wonderland stuff where Alice was this woman who got a really bad deal. She got sent there and it drove her crazy.
Nice, dude. No,
like the Peter Pan is this immortal who like steals the youth of people that he brings to Wonderland.
No, dude. And how deep is this series in? Like, is it a few issues? Is this the first? Like, where's this at?
I mean, Zenescope's been doing comics in this universe of stuff for the last 15 years. There have been multiple ongoing series, like mini series, where they'll basically take any of those classic, Disney princesses that you think of, and they've done something with them. Belle, they've done Beauty and the Beast stuff, where where you had this guy who was like the more dark and evil deeds he did, the more evil he did, the more of a beast he became, where to the point where he was just outright torturing people, and then he got turned into a big monster.
Nice, dude. No, sounds freaking awesome.
Yeah, but did you give out any Hostess fruit pies?
Well,
what good is he?
I was gonna ask, then she redeem him in some way, or does it end gory and terrible as one should expect?
Guys,
Oh,
we have to do it again. We all know this goes. Christian DeLorme for $5. Thank you, Christian DeLorme, for the $5. Appreciate you guys are coming hot. You guys must really, really want to see Thanos punch Captain Marvel very badly for that to keep happening.
Who doesn't? Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Matthew Pounder. All right. Cool.
If you haven't seen, I don't know if you can see on the top of my shelf around here.
Yeah.
There's the Infinity War Thanos. Can you make it big? I don't know if it will be.
I'll try to make you big. Let's see if I can make you grow. Oh, I see it.
There.
Yeah, I see. You should get that
I
from the
see the
shelf,
gauntlet.
dude.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, the smaller one under Vader and Iron Man. Okay, gotcha.
You should get
Yeah.
it.
So that one is a cheap one that I got for $15 for a
Ooh.
plain joke. I literally got him a new shirt,
Eagle
the
Moss?
farmer shirt, and I got him in a greenhouse. So that was I got him
Oh.
on the greenhouse, and since the greenhouse is gone, he's on the shelf. But he used to farm.
Nice.
Wow, is that the Eagle Moss one or whatever?
No, it's a Chinese knockoff. I will bring it.
Oh, okay.
Give me a second.
No, please get it. So before he's getting that, I finally got around to reading the original Kevin Eastman TMNT run.
Oh, okay.
I finally no, this is the color edition because originally when this
Sure.
came out way back in the day,
Black
it was
and
actually
white, yeah.
black and white. So when my buddy Keith at Keith's Comics like, hey, did you want the black and white color? I'm like, no, I'll go for the color. So I really like these really rough around the edges. Look at that, dude. It looks so brutal.
It's
So
a good.
Did they reprint it in black and white at all, or no?
They did. They did reprint
I mean,
black and white.
Recently, I know they did it often, but I mean, recently, are they just now coming out with a color edition, or what's the deal with that?
The color edition's been out for quite a few years now. They've been doing both, and both editions sell very well. So now they just leave people with the option of, do you want the black and white or do you want the color? And for some, the what's it called, the black and white still sells. Like there's still an audience for it, which is impressive.
Yeah, you know what
So
it did back then when that came out, Nick.
What
during the '80s is it caused what we called the black and white glut. Debug might remember that it caused a bunch of smaller companies because of the success of that and Cerebus and some other and Elfquest and some of the other black and white comics. A huge black and white glut that really just caused a lot of people to lose a lot of money.
Oh man, that's unfortunate. Like I get the idea with the black and white. It gives like almost like a classical feel to the story. That's a nice figure, actually. Thanos, dude.
There was some
the only
good
thing,
comics.
the gauntlet, the stones are not in the
Beautiful,
right colors and everything. And
that's a great figure.
Yeah, actually, it's really possible. It can be torn apart quite literally every single piece. So
okay.
Nice.
It's pretty good. By the way, there were some really good of those black and white comics because of that glut. I'm just saying. But anyway, that's cool.
okay, I have several heads and everything. So, and you're about to see something that is part of my collection, how I keep things organized. In this Death Star.
Ooh, let's zoom on that Death Star.
If you open it, it's full of the accessories.
Oh, that's good. Good place to keep them.
Yeah,
nice little container there. Richard Corbin was amazing. Whose art looked like Richard Corbin?
I think he's talking about Eastman style, Kevin Eastman, because he said the art looks a little like Corbin style.
Well, and when it's colored, maybe it sort of does. Not when it's black and white, really. But
yeah, black and white. I can see why he said so with the color too.
Do you know what this is from?
No.
Yoda?
The Yoda that I have in my
Yoda.
Yeah. It's from that Yoda. There's different hands and everything, so it's literally quite a good figure, man. For the amount of money that it costed and all the shit that it comes.
I'm with you, Phil Bo. There were some real good comics that were in there for sure, but like anything else, good and bad.
Right. Every time there's some big thing that has like a big revolution to it, there's always the bad that comes with the good. Always is.
A lot of people got stuck with a lot of comics on those racks, though.
It's funny. My guy Keith was telling me about way back in the day when he had originally had access to around a bunch of those copies of the number one. Oh my God, Paul, it's amazing. And he said he passed them up. He's like, I don't think this is going to amount to anything. You want to talk about the one that got away? Yeah, no one saw that coming. So he's like, this won't amount. He's like, it looks cool. I thought it'd be fun. I read it, but I was like, I didn't think it was going to be anything he would need.
Well, Nick, the thing is, it had a bit of a following as a comic, but we have to be honest, it went into the stratosphere because of the cartoon.
Oh, totally.
Eastman and Lear. Again, it was not that it was unpopular. Remember, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the title was a parody.
Did you notice? I have two of these.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. That one's bigger, isn't it? No, it's about the same.
No, they are the same, exactly
okay.
the same model. I just have two, one for keeping things organized and one for the collection. So,
An ungloved snapping hand.
It is a excellent question.
Yeah, that's
But
a
on the
good
plus
question.
side, Pablo, you've got all those extra parts for when you inevitably get the Pablo action figure.
Yo,
Hey,
dude.
thanks for having me.
Hey.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy
Hey,
Thanksgiving.
Pablo,
Where's
is
my
that
hat?
fully operational Death Star, or
Fully
is that,
operational.
Well, it
That's a-
used to
that's
hold
no
a
moon.
lot of popcorn, so that this is
Too big to
the
be a
thing
space
that,
station.
yeah, we got
not a moon.
Rogue One, so it was like $10. This and the full thing of popcorn and another thing of
Nice.
popcorn. And if you notice around here, there's a T'Challa, a Black Panther that actually came with popcorn. No, this one came with soda. So yeah,
okay.
I collect this kind of stuff. And behind that, there's a Chewbacca that is with a hat because it had literally an opening in the head for the popcorn, and it looked like the monkey on Indiana Jones. So I was like, oh, put a head on the.
D-Bud, I'm with you, dude. I loved Boris the Bear. I loved Cerebus. Of course, I bought Cerebus. That was way before the Glut. Cerebus was before the Glut, but Boris the Bear was in. Normal Man was fantastic by Art Vandenheim. Normal Man, Dick. It's a hilarious parody comic. He lived. It was a parody of superhero comics. This guy, he was normal because he was rocketed to this planet where everyone has superpowers but him. And so it was a really hilarious parody. I love it.
Oh, I got awesome ones comment real quick before I got. That's what his Darsuka's gonna talk about female about it. His article somehow that was left out. Well, you got me intrigued on Normal Man. That sounds like something I would love to read. So I have to check that out.
It's just a crazy parody from the '80s of overcrowded comics. They had and my buddy Lord Thoth, who just popped in, appreciate this. They had the roll call for the Legion of Superfluous Heroes, and it started in issue 1, and it continued through every issue because there's so many of them. But yeah, LT, nice. LLL, buddy.
LLL, long live the Legion.
Yeah, bro.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see you. I sorry I'm a little bit non-punctual, but FNT, and then of course my wife and I decided to watch Tango Shalom, which was Robert Meyer Burnett's movie that he produced on. Not too bad. The acting's a little B level, but there's some fun points, and it's a great take on a lot of situations that a lot of people who are true to their faith are dealing with in today's society, especially with social media. So it was a fun journey. My wife and I couldn't help but I would look over at her and she was smiling, and she looked over at me and I was smiling, and it was one of those movies that you go, well, it's certainly not a 10 out of 10. Don't get me wrong, and things weren't blowing up, and superheroes weren't becoming she-men all of a sudden. And, Hawkeye wasn't becoming Lady Hawkeye, for example. But it was a very interesting take because you had the feminine side of things and the masculine side of things, and it wasn't woke, it wasn't SJW. It was just an interesting take on the Jewish religion and the people that are facing those faith issues nowadays. And my wife and I are obviously not Jewish, but it was just interesting. I told R&B I would watch it, and my wife and I would watch it, and we did. We thought we'd watch something with a little less shall we say stress-inducing themes like I've been watching from a lot of my superhero movies lately. So it was a lot of fun. I just think that there was nothing going into it. We had no high aspirations for a great movie, and we had no low aspirations. It was just, let's watch it and see what it was. So yeah, it wasn't bad.
Nice.
Dude,
sorry, I think I just railroaded the conversation.
No, you did not. You added to it. To it.
I actually want to know about the movie. So man,
I've been wanting to watch it. So
did you have to rent it, LT, or?
No, actually, it was on. Was it Hulu? I think.
Really?
Okay, so it's on one of the services. Okay,
so
it's on one of them. I can't remember which one.
Yeah, get some money now, right? Yeah,
I'll get it.
Somebody gets some money somewhere. So R&B will be happy with me that I didn't just.
Do you get a free Hot Toys with your viewing?
Yeah.
yeah. But no, it wasn't bad. It was It was worth a couple of hours, I think, if for nothing, just to watch the tango dancer. Man, my wife is funny because we were watching it, and when the main actor, who is an older Jewish gentleman, rabbi, and he's trying to figure out a way where he can be this tango dancer and do it without touching this beautiful woman, right? And my wife looked at me and said, "Wait a minute, wasn't that the girl on Dancing with the Stars that won that year?" And I went, "I don't know, sweetheart. I've never watched Dancing with the Stars." So we get to see the nerd in me going, "How did you know her?" And she's like, "How did you not know her? It was Dancing with the Stars girl." And I was like, there's the normie person right there, and there's the geek, right? So it was kind of funny, but she said, "Yeah, it was like one of those seasons where she won with that army veteran and stuff." And I went, "Oh, I remember that." And then we were like, so it was kind of interesting because we both had a take on it. And yeah, it was interesting. It was fun. It was fun to not be all stressed out or not be all upset or PO'd at a movie. And, we've watched Dune lately. We've watched, what else? Shang-Chi. We've watched several movies that have really upset me. And my wife is just like, "Why don't we just watch something that we're not going to get all upset about and we're not going to get all stressed out about and just go in and just enjoy it?" And that's what we did. I wouldn't say it's a 10, like I said. I would probably give it a 6 or a 7, but it was fun.
No,
wait, you mean to tell me there was good escapism?
Yeah. It was a great story.
Impossible.
It was a fun story because I think it's a reflection of what a lot of people are facing today. They're facing a conflict of faith. They're facing a conflict of social activities. They're facing a conflict of what's in social media. There was a theme throughout the very beginning, especially where the young kids were all talking about social media and, "Dad, these people were talking about you and touching this woman because she fell on you," and all of this stuff. So there were some interesting takes on that kind of thing and how social media reflects badly on a situation when it was just an innocent accident. So there's some really deep themes in it, but yeah, it was fun. There were some laughs and there was some it was fun.
Well, that's what always fun in the movie too. Like, the two worlds colliding. Like Splash is probably one of the simplest ones to remember. With you got Tom Hanks with Daryl Hannah, the mermaid, right? You got that's pretty common trope, but it's always usually interesting and well done. We the two characters or two conflicting characters, the ones the quote unquote fish out of water. So yeah, it did look like an interesting movie to watch, and it probably has a high wife acceptance factor. I didn't do so well with Real Genius the other night. That wasn't too popular.
It's one of the greatest movies of all time. Never.
I know.
Big deal with that.
It's funny, Mark and Claudia, when you guys were talking about that the other night, because I watched. I actually watched your video afterwards, and besides the fact that it got me really, really hungry, when you guys started talking about that movie, I went, "Oh, I haven't seen that in like 40 years, like it was 80, like 30 years ago, right?" And I went, "Oh, I've got to get it." So I was looking for it, and I don't have it on my shelf. So unfortunately, I had to seek it elsewhere. But when you were talking about that, yeah, that's right. I rented it in air quotes. But that's a movie that I'm going to watch again because, like I said, that's a movie that brings me back. I remember that movie from a long time, from the 80s.
What a great 80s movie it is. Val Kilmer's brilliant, and that's to me, his second greatest performance ever. I always thought it was his first, but you got to go with Doc Holliday. But it's
not Top Gun
right there. No, I wouldn't want to say that.
The homoerotic masterpiece.
I'm not sissy. Man. I'm not a sissy like some people who watch that movie. I'm sorry, guys.
I missed out on that Knicks thing on Tuesday night. It was like 11:30, I think, before I got finished my my other job that I had to deal with. But I was so upset because I really wanted to be part of that Top Gun discussion. It's funny that Val Kilmer has been coming up in the conversation lately.
Right? Isn't it funny how that works, dude?
He's done a lot of great movies.
If you get time, we're doing Die Hard December for Toxic Tuesday for the month of December. So instead of 1, 2, 3, we're doing 3, 2, and 1. So yeah, so
greatest Christmas movie of all time, right there.
Yes, sir.
I love too.
D Bud says Top Gun is Matt's favorite. It's all because of that amazing volleyball scene. I mean, the dudes getting together. Disease. What's up, Disease? Dart says, Hawkeye wasted 2 hours of my life that unfortunately got. Well, hopefully the hour and a half you give us tonight will hopefully be a decent substitute for that. That's what we're doing here for us. It's more of a chill out, enjoy the good things type of stream. So that's what we're here for.
I wouldn't watch the first episode of WandaVision. And I never watched any more of the Disney Plus series.
Okay,
well, you're better off.
That was like 3 months ago.
Well, Nick,
Nick,
you keep teasing us with that. I see you have something really great right there, brother.
I just picked this up this week. Yes, let me zoom in. I picked this up a collected edition.
Jim Starlin's brilliant Warlock run.
So it's got Strange Tales 178 through 81. And it's got the Warlock issues number 9 through 15. And it's got Avengers Annual. Yes. And then Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 2 from 1976. So, yeah. I was looking at some of these pages. And I'm just like, dude, look
fantastic.
at this. Oh, my God.
Do you know what my favorite Jim Starlin storyline is of all time?
Dreadstar.
Dreadstar.
Dreadstar is great. We've got to
Moon Dragons.
I love Dreadstar.
Moon Dragon's in here, and Pip is in here. That's cool.
And the Magus. I won't spoil who the Magus is for those who don't know, but it's a great. That run there. That's been reprinted in that trade and reprinted before that and after it, and that's like the latest trade of it. You got to grab that. I mean, now I'm going back. Now you make me want to go back and read this, dude. I love Starling.
Dude,
that was some great storyline right there. That's great science fiction superhero comics.
I cannot wait
and the art
to get started because the art is fantastic on this.
Look at that.
Starling is
beautiful.
Whoa.
Oh, it's just I love Starling, man. It's some of the best.
Seriously, you look at that and you're just like,
oh my God. And the real Pip the Troll too. Not that travesty they had in
Harry
that
Styles.
latest movie.
Ooh, look at the green.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, look at the green on this. Oh.
And the silver and white from the ice. That's just
You're showing Magus right there too. And of course Thanos.
But that's not just great art too. That's great inking.
Vistra is saying, he says, hell, and he says, fuck me, that comic is beautiful. Dude, no, this thing
Pip
is
right there.
Wonder.
You missed the other comment from Awesome One. Magus is Mad Mardigan.
I won't spoiler who Magus is. For those who don't know who Magus is, I won't spoiler it. But
all right, I can't wait.
I think Magus is Kelly Sue DeConnick, isn't she?
Yes. Oh, you spoiled it.
One of the other things I was.
The thing is, Jim Starlin inked himself on a lot, not all of them, but he did ink himself on some of the early Strange Tales ones. So
budget cuts.
You know what's interesting with Marvel is there were two Warlocks and 2 Maguses, and they're both connected to each other. Because the New Mutants had Warlock, and his father was called the Magus.
Yeah.
Yep, not
okay.
I won't say anything because it'll be spoiler.
No, I see D-Bud wrote a comment saying you're going to need all the Marvel premieres that start the Warlock site. Well, I would love to get a hold of that. That would be great. That'd be awesome. And then awesome. Let's see where I look at awesome ones. Mad Homer made his come out people. Oh, that's hilarious. True. No, and then look at Pip right there as well. So yeah, I'm really excited, even though I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Whereas the Ninja Turtles, I'm a portion of the way done. I'm really excited to read the Warlock one because that looks like it's going to be at the very least phenomenal stuff. So I'm excited. Like just look at it, I'm like, ah! All right, I gotta get water. I'll be right back, guys. Go ahead, carry the conversation.
Okay. Yeah, that is a true classic. Oh, you want to tell him?
No spoilers.
All right, the Magus is Magus.
Mad Mardigan.
Okay.
Yeah, we already solved it. We already spoiled it.
That's true. Damn you, spoilers. I think that run is almost as good as this Captain Marvel run at the same time. I mean, they're very similar. They tie in together. It's tough, but I don't know. Its early Dreadstar might be even better. Like you mentioned, Dreadstar. That's something that I haven't thought about in a long time. You don't even hear about it anymore, other than us talking about it. Really. But
that was a unique storyline. But man, if you're talking Captain Marvel, you're talking Dreadstar and Warlock. Man, wow, those are. It just goes to show you how great the comic IQ was back in those days, right? Because that's just one artist that we're talking about, one writer that came up with some amazing ideas. And then nowadays they can't even come up with something that they're bastardizing from 30 years ago that's half decent. I think that because that Captain Marvel run was pretty impressive too.
Starlin was. I think he put most of his energies into Dreadstar after those two series.
Yeah, he
After that, he wrote Batman for a while. And for a short time, he even wrote Batman the Cult, which I don't think was a very good story.
No, it wasn't very good.
Then when he got to DC, he went back to DC and he started Gilgamesh 2, which is him trying to bring back a lot of that Dreadstar and a lot of that Warlock stuff, which was okay at least. But he had this running theme where all of his villains were Thanos.
Pretty much, yeah.
He didn't create Thanos, but he kind of did a lot to him. He really refined him, and he did a lot of, he really defined a lot of his story. Like then that Warlock series is the first time we know about soul gems, or at least when the soul gems are first put together and that kind of stuff.
And there was an extra. There was an extra gem.
Right. I mean, of course, it's very different in the movies, unfortunately. But yeah, he's got Thanos, who is sort of patterned off Darkseid in some ways. It looks a lot similar to him, but not the same villain by any stretch. Then he's got Lord Papal or whatever in Dreadstar.
Yep. The Papacy. Yep.
Yeah, and then he did another one in Gilgamesh 2. I mean, he was kind of obsessed with the same kind of villain. Not enough, but
I gotta dig out that Gilgamesh series again too and reread it. It's been a long time since I've read that. Hey, Stuart Mitchell.
Good art. Now his New Gods, I don't think he did a great job on when he did that for a while, but still, Starlin, and he was he even made an appearance in Endgame. You saw that?
Yeah, which was amazing.
He deserves to be in there. Yeah.
In what part?
The money that these guys should be.
The scene
paid. God.
Toward the beginning when Cap is doing the little little counseling session with some people.
Yeah, where the Russo brothers are being gay.
Yes, Starlin's in that scene.
Okay.
Hello, gents. What were you guys talking about?
Jim Starlin.
Welcome back.
How you love Captain Marvel.
And how much we wish,
the real Captain Marvel. Well, actually, the second Captain Marvel, because to me, Captain Marvel will always be Shazam.
Exactly. He's the guy that says Shazam, folks. Although I love Marvel.
I do.
He is Billy Batson saying Shazam and turning into Captain Marvel and not having the mind of Billy Batson. Damn it, you. Never mind.
It's funny you mention that. I want to mention that because, I never really paid attention to Marvel, but the thing that got me to pay attention was when Ripa was doing his whole Captain Marvel brigade of videos, and he would always obsess with how he was a huge fan of Marvel. Like, he's a legitimate fan. And I was like, wow, he really knew his stuff. He talked about how when he was at the theater seeing the Captain Marvel movie opening night, how he was so mad about how much they gypped Marvel, and I can tell you, he was really passionate about the character.
Isn't that Benning?
So I was like, wow, I didn't know Marvel had this type of a following. So it just made me really see the character of Marvel a little bit differently. Is just all I wanted to add to that, and it makes me think, man, maybe I never looked into the character. I remember seeing the character when I was a bit younger. I just never really came off as something I'd want to look into, but I know in recent years, since obviously the Marvel wide range has expanded greatly, I'm like, maybe I should consider getting a second chance. Because, when I was in my teens, I was so strictly on Spider-Man, Daredevil, Fantastic Four. And then I'm later in life, I'm like, hey, I should look at these other things too. Obviously I didn't read Kirby Eternals until my 30s, but now I'm like, I'm glad I did. I'm like, maybe, and now I got Warlock here. I'm like, maybe Marvel should be the next thing after Warlock.
The Starlin trade. Yeah. There's a trade that does the same thing as Warlock.
Okay.
The important Starlin issues it was once called Life of Captain Marvel, the trade, because a play on the classic Death of Captain Marvel. Have you read that graphic novel by now?
Yeah, I think it's the life and death of Captain Marvel.
I do know of it. I definitely know of it.
Well, Death of Captain Marvel was the actual real very first Marvel graphic novel anyway, a real graphic novel, not a trade paperback. Came out in 1982. And I remember the original, a bunch of the print room burned up in a warehouse fire or a printer's fire, but we managed to get our copies really late and stuff. And that, again, I'd already loved Marvel, but it had been years since I'd read the earlier stuff with him because, Starlin left the book after a while. But that is one of the most amazing. If you ever read, you can read Death of Captain Marvel without really knowing anything and still get a lot out of that story. So that would be something you might want to read soon. But I think Gary and Ass reviewed it recently, as a matter of fact, on The Real B&B. BBC. They did. So anyway, that's a great read, but you might want to grab that trade of the Starlin run of Captain Marvel first.
Okay. All right. No, I would love to. I mean, that sounds like it's worth a read between that, the Captain Marvel trade with Starlin, and then the death of Captain Marvel to follow it up. That sounds like a great 1-2 punch. It's brutal. Yeah, I hear a lot of that.
In a good way.
A lot. No,
and that was the worst casting in the MCU history when they cast Annette Bening as Captain Marvel, or as Marvel. That that almost made me get up and walk out of the theater when I saw that. I was so
it wasn't
upset.
Captain Marvel. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, I guess it is, but it isn't. Yeah, I mean,
but that's what they were passing off as Marvel. Though.
That's what they did. They did that on purpose. There's no way they didn't do that on purpose. They did that on purpose.
Yeah,
like they've done 15 or 20 different castings in the last 10 years. That just makes me more and more upset to the point where I'm just apathetic now. I look at this Hawkeye series. I love Hawkeye. I'm a classic Avengers issue 5 Hawkeye fan. Wow. So when I look at what they're doing to that character, and they made him a co-star, or not even a co-star, a guest in his own show, to the female character that was created 2 years ago. Right. It upsets me when I see that.
They're also screwing the Swordsman over big time. It's really bad.
I refuse to watch
Swordsman. I used to like Swordsman.
Swordsman.
And that's a pathway to Moondragon, to Mantis, to the that cosmic part of the universe where he dies and he goes on to the Pama and that whole religious sect that brings that's a whole great part of the Marvel universe.
Hey, he trained Hawkeye.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be gone. They won't put that in there. He's just a straight up murdering piece of crap in this thing, it looks like.
It's just so sad that they've skipped over so many amazing, unbelievably awesome storylines to just go to what's happened in the last 5 years in Marvel Comics. There's so many great stories that you could dig into from the 60s, 70s, and 80s that are just unbelievably great storylines. The problem is, I guess they have too many white men in them. I'm not saying that to be racist. I'm saying that to be realistic, where you're bringing all these new characters in to try to attract new customers. I get that, but the problem is you're not attracting new customers. You're POing all the old customers. So you want to maintain your base. You want to maintain the customers that you already have and build on new customers. But you have to walk over all the old great characters in order to push up into the atmosphere, all these Mary Sue's. It's upsetting. Star Wars has been ruined for me forever. The Marvel Comics is starting to get that way. At least DC has kind of done it semi-right, where they haven't walked over characters too much. I get that they've kind of changed some of the main core characteristics of some of the main characters like Superman or Batman, and they've made them into these darker characters. I get that they're trying to turn with the times, but when you completely castrate a male character in order to push up a female character, it just upsets me.
No, rightfully so. I get that. So Thoth, since we're on the subject of Hawkeye, why don't you recommend for the panel and the chat what are some good Hawkeye we should know about, whether it's a appearance or key issues involved? Can you recommend anything off the top of your head, whether it's a specific run or specific issues? Because I feel like maybe people should know about classic stories that involve Clint Barton and how great he truly is that we'll never get to know, because nowadays we only care about comics and being faithful to them because of all new, all different. It's like now they want to be true to the comics, so because it's what they wanted. So now they care about the source material now, which they were starting to care about less. And I would like maybe it could give me some education on old Hawkeye, because Hawkeye was an art guy I didn't pay attention to. Like I knew who he was always, and I read comics where he was in it, but I didn't really pay much attention to him the way I would like Daredevil or the Incredible Hulk. Because he was just Hawkeye in me, but I didn't really pay attention. It's like, man, what did I skip out on when I was younger? So maybe you could fill out some blanks for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's great. Okay, so I have to try to dig deep into my memory here. There was a mini series in the 80s. It was 4 issues, Hawkeye, where we first meet like Bobby Morse, which is Mockingbird.
Right.
Yes.
That mini series, I have to tell you right now, that's probably my favorite series of Hawkeye. You had Oddball in it. You had Bombshell. You had some great villains.
Okay.
That's a classic miniseries. I liked it because it was kind of it allowed him to get on his own away from the Avengers, and that was what was important at the time.
That sounds like something I want to read.
Yeah, it was the first time you ever had to really any kind of getting away from them much. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That was a lot of fun. I love that. Let's see what else. Well, of course, West Coast Avengers. Now, the art was kind of okay at the time, but the storyline was kind of cool. Where Hawkeye was coming, they were coming from a rough time in their the world. The Avengers had a rough time, but you had. I remember, you know what gets me is the issue #1 of the West Coast Avengers. They had a cover on there, and you had Rom, you had Namor, you had Hercules, you had Wonder Man on it, and Tigra and stuff. Do you remember that, Clobby? I remember that cover. Yeah. I'm looking at you right now, and here I'm saying I remember that cover because the West Coast Avengers had a great run. They were kind of like the B team, right? And you had Mockingbird, Wonder Man, Tigra. You had. Wasn't Jimmy Rhodes a part of that too? Yeah, he was.
Yeah, War Machine was.
And I think the big villain was Graviton.
I'm screenshotting this one right now.
Don't forget the Great Lakes Avengers, right?
Oh my God!
Has anyone read the Great Lakes?
Yeah, the Canadian super team, the Canadian Avengers, right? The Great Lakes Avengers.
There's a pretty cool Hawkeye Epic collection on Comixology right now. It's $20, but it's got a lot of stuff in there. It's got that series and a bunch of Marvel Team Up and Captain America appearances, Tales of Suspense. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
when he went one against
this one though, look at this, where he single-handedly rescues the rest of the Avengers from Collector. Dude, how cool is
that? The Collector one?
Yeah,
that's the Collector one. That's where I was going next.
I remember
where he went one-on-one against the Collector.
I found the first issue for the 93 run. Look at this art, man.
Yeah, you know what else he was great on? He was great on Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes as well.
That was pretty good too.
Oh, the cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes, he was. Oh yeah. No, I did.
Look that panel.
I love Clint Barton.
It's amazing. Like it's funny because it's like there's always a lot of promotion that's ignored about Hawkeye, but he does have his fans. And even though I was never one who paid attention to him personally, I was always at least aware that he had a fan base. He undoubtedly had fans.
Oh, and there was an Avengers annual, and I'm trying to remember. I think it was like, I want to say like 15 or 16.
Okay.
Where it was it was the Infinity Gauntlet kind of setup, where they had they were facing. So you had the Avengers against all the dead characters in the Marvel Universe at the time. So it was like the Avengers against Death. And it was where there was a big fight. You had Captain Marvel, Drax the Destroyer. All those characters were the army of the dead. And the good guys were fighting, and they were all defeated. You had Moon Knight, Wonder Man, Captain America, the Black Knight, She-Hulk. And then at the end, it was just Captain America and Hawkeye left standing. And in the very end, it was Hawkeye was the one who challenged the Grandmaster. And they had this bet, and Hawkeye cheated and ended up winning. It's like it was so Hawkeye, and I love that issue. And I wish I remember the Avengers issue. It was an annual
because it was reading that.
It was like because it was the Red Centurion Iron Man, if I remember correctly, too. And Thor had a beard. in that issue.
Part of one of the like events where
it was an event comic.
Maybe it was with the Collector
or
the Champion.
Grandmaster. Yeah, I think it was the Grandmaster was the bad guy in that one. But that's another great issue. There's a recent run that I'm sorry, Clubby, I actually collected, and I want to say that, and it was Old Man Logan it was in some Wolverine issues. So I've gotten every single issue of Wolverine. I've stayed true to the character, being a good Canuck that I am. He's my favorite Marvel character. So I had to get the Old Man Logan stuff, and they introduced Hawkeye, who survived. Old Man Hawkeye, and he's blind.
I didn't read it, but I heard it was
great.
decent.
Oh, it was amazing.
Great. It was great. It was great because you had all the children of the Hulk were the bad guys, and of course his family, Logan's family, were slaughtered by the elderly Hulk.
It's almost a little Unforgiven, like in terms of Logan's retired to a farm and he's a farmer now, and he's living in the future, and he's kind of just not doing anything. He hasn't unsheathed his claws, and I think they say like 10 years or 20 years or whatever. That's
because he can't heal anymore, right? So every time he does it's immense pain.
But he's also stopped fighting. He's just he's a farmer now, kind of like Clint in Unforgiven.
In that book, it wasn't that he couldn't heal. No, it was because of something he did, something that made him just say never again.
Yep, exactly.
And that's, I think, makes it more powerful is that he did it as a choice.
And what does that do to a person, right? And then who comes in driving this vehicle blind is Hawkeye. Like,
it's
like, how are you driving that car, right?
It was the spider buggy.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Buggy, right? Yeah.
That's memorable. And so it made me get the next issue. That's a series that's rare in current comics, and I think it's like 5 years old now. And that's a series that made me have some optimism towards current comics because it was a unique story. It looked at Logan from a different perspective. What happens when you think you have everything and then you lose everything overnight? And then what do you do? Because you're kicked, you're spit on, and you're grind down into the dust. How do you come back from that? And how do you get revenge? But then what happens if you do get revenge? How do you survive after that? And it's an interesting storyline. Of course, it's Mark Millar. But I'm trying to remember the artist, McNiven, maybe. Anyway,
McNiven,
that's
McNiven,
it. Just to Matthew Ponder, yes, was his cousin, and that was part of the deal. The babies from the Hulk were not out of his family, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because, quote, she's the only one who can take it.
Yep,
like, it was
exactly.
Super dark.
It was a heavy comic.
It was very heavy.
That was only meant to be like a short run too. It was
it was a limited series.
Well, it was within. It was in Wolverine, but it was kind of like an alternative storyline. And then because such a huge hit, they kill off Wolverine and bring old man Logan into current continuity, right? I mean,
that's because he was so popular, because it took off. It actually sold, I think, more than 2,000 issues, like most of the series sell nowadays. So it was really popular, and a lot of Wolverine fans like it, and a lot of new fans liked it. So I think it was in the top 10 on the sellers list. That series was huge.
It was tough to get too, because I was missing one of the issues. I'm like, I subbed to Wolverine. I was like, where's my number 66? Where's my Wolverine 66? So
they underprinted it, right? And then it got so hugely popular.
Oh,
why
huge,
is this not the series?
All right.
Why? Marvel is just wasting a lot of potential, man. A lot of potential. And
the other thing that I'd love too is Thunder. I'm a huge Thunderbolts fan. I think I have almost every issue of Thunderbolts.
You got them all.
And Hawkeye is a huge part of Thunderbolts. So you're talking about when he took on the Collector. One of my favorite issues of Thunderbolts is he's training the team, And of course, Hawkeye's, he's got no superpowers, and he takes out like all the Thunderbolts without, with just his arrows and his smarts and knowing how to fight, and he's able to take out like all the, people on the team with superpowers to show them like, you guys are a bunch of losers. It was like a Rocky kind of training scene. I can't remember what issue it was in, but in the beginning of the Thunderbolts run was fantastic, and Hawkeye's a huge part of the Thunderbolts. So. Eventually we might get a Thunderbolts Marvel Marvel movie allegedly, or an appearance. We'll see, but that's another great series to check out.
Yes. Well, remind me, guys. So I thought that the initial genesis of Hawkeye in the Marvel Universe movies was outstanding, and now I know he appeared in Thor.
Yes.
Where Thor loses his hammer, and Hawkeye is part of there, and he goes up onto the tower and looks down, and he's keeping an eye on things, right? Yep. And I thought that the genesis of the character was outstanding because he was a normal guy. He was a SHIELD agent. He was an expert in weapons, whether it's small arms, whether it's firearms, whether it's bow and arrow, whatever. He was an expert at weapons, and he was a good tactician, and that's why you had Nick Fury and Natasha were, why they were so much. They felt that he was an equal, and I think that what they did is they took a normal guy who had incredible training and incredible natural abilities and made him a friggin' Avenger in the comics, but he's so in the movies, and he's so underutilized. Well, that's because in the comics, it's the same thing. He's just a regular guy. He picks up a bow and arrow, and you know what? He can hit a bullseye every time. And he's kind of like the Deadshot / bullseye of the good guys. Green Arrow.
Yeah.
So I that's why I picked up the Ronin 6-scale Hot Toys figure because
that was a nice toy.
I love that take on him.
Toy. Oh, dude,
because his family just dies. I like his journey in the movies.
Yeah,
he's one of the male characters that has a great journey. Well, until this miniseries, but I think he's
one of like Age of Ultron a lot because it really gave you a representative story of Hawkeye, and this is why I was one of the defenders of Age of Ultron because they gave Hawkeye presence.
And there's in that movie there's this great moment when he, Pietro is just going away and he pulls the string and he's like, nobody will know.
Oh, Pablo, that's one of my favorite scenes with him. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's Hawkeye. There you see his personality, and you have seen that he has a family, he has a lot to lose, and even though he has a lot to lose, he's still chill. And he's joking about shit that he knows it will go wrong. If he shoots that arrow will never hit, and he will have an enemy. So it's just a joke, but it's a joke necessary for him.
I like that scene, especially when he's talking with Wanda before they got failed. Like he's giving her the speech, about when you go out there, you're an Avenger. Like none of this makes sense. I have a bow and arrow. Every part of that speech was just awesome. I'm like, God, that's cool. And I was always defending that movie, and that was one of them is because of Hawkeye. And man, and it sucks because Jeremy Renner seems like an all-around good dude too in Hollywood, despite all the crazy people. He definitely comes off as one of the far better ones. So it's like, oh, why did it have to happen to one of the good guys? Like, really, you had to do it to a guy who actually no. I hear he's great with people at signings too, and he comes off great at interviews. He's not having his Twitter feed filled with ridiculous filth. He's a welcome presence. And I'm like, man, we need more of the Jeremy Renners in the world. We really do.
And he needed to sell me too, because when he was cast, I'm like, he even said some stuff when he was first getting the role. He made fun of the costume and he said some silly stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's Clint Barton. I'm not really feeling it. But he made me go, all right, it's not exactly from the comics, but he is really good. I like him. Is he just like the comic book version? No, but he's still pretty good. And I really, really have enjoyed him all through his appearances. He's very different, even in this show. He's still good on this show, and it's just got other problems we won't go into here.
He's got some good scenes in there.
I want more. We probably won't get anything we want out of it because I would rather just see a show about him. Again, we're talking things we like tonight, so we're not trashing the show.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man.
But I do like him a lot. He has sold me, and he makes you want to see a show with him in it. And that's,
It's not like he's not a leading man. He can totally carry something on his own. He's proven he can.
Yeah, he can. This is the issue with the costume. You basically have this ridiculous purple bright costume that you cannot sell at the first time, So after Avengers, after that he gets really into being an Avenger, then you give him the costume, then you start to introduce the colors, and then you give him a mask and everything. So they had the perfect opportunity to actually make the suit work. And there's another characters that have gotten their suits and look badass on screen, and he's the only one that didn't. It's a waste.
Yeah, and plus he's brainwashed for the whole Avengers movie too, so a lot of Hawkeye fans are mad at that. He's basically out of action in the first.
That's another thing. Hawkeye fans are vocal.
Oh yeah, when Loki tapped him with the staff there and mind controlled him. But I think his recovery and his scene with Natasha, where they fight each other, was a good recovery scene. And I think the acting really came out there because I think we got to see how good of an actor he is because he felt so crushed because that crushed him so much, and you could see the emotion on his face. And I was a little bit miffed at it at first, but I think that's part of the journey that he took. We got to see him as just a regular SHIELD agent right till the end, where he became a true member of the Avengers. And I'm sure he's always felt guilty about that. And that's why I am so mad at the Black Widow movie, which should have been done 10 years ago, because that journey with Black Widow and Hawkeye should have been the story. That should have been the whole story there, not this whole Russian crap that they went through in that movie. And it kind of upset me because I think that they had chemistry. I think whenever the scenes that the two of them were in, ScarJo and Renner were in those scenes together, you had the chemistry there and the smile. And hell, bring in Captain America too. Have him as kind of a periphery in that whole situation after they get back to the present time and have that, like the scenes that you could, like, they would chew the scenes up, I think. And it's just too bad it went the way it went.
I hated that movie. I really, really, really hated that movie. It's just an insult to every single character, not even in the comics. Okay, you can forget about the comics if you are a new fan and you only were into the movies. Okay, even in the movies, that movie is insulting every single character. Is making Natasha a evil, terrible woman that you should never have as a hero. You never. A child murderer or a wannabe child murderer because she even failed. She was incompetent at that. Is not the kind of people that you have as a hero. And
makes no sense too, by the way. You're right.
The whole thing about they retelling what happened on Budapest. Well, that should have been the movie. That was the movie. That was what they needed to do, 8 years ago? Yep. 8 years ago was the perfect time for a Black Widow movie. They explore Budapest. Yep. They give a lot of extra heft to Hawkeye. And then you have the Hawkeye movie. And you finish this with a Ronin movie that is him basically atoning for his sins. So that's a lot of missed opportunities there that they will never get back.
Yeah, man, I didn't hate the Black Widow movie as much as you, Pablo, but I would say that I agree with some of those. Obviously a lot of those points, and they should have done that movie earlier because that would have been kick ass to have a and of course we've got to have a female lead, but everyone would have loved to have seen that, and no one would have cared about shouldn't be a big deal anyway, right? I mean. But that would have made sense. I love the interaction, like with the Crimson Dynamite, like the dinner table scene. I thought was fantastic. Yeah. So there were some really good points in that movie, but it's not a great. But it's not a great. It's not like I say, it's a great movie. But there were good parts to it that I wish they expanded on.
Is that Sidewinder and the Serpent Society you've got up there?
I read all this panel between Spidey and Hawkeye. This is a great piece of dog, and this is. I'm glad Ironcaster showed up this off real quick. It's Spice. Like, I thought you were joking at first, but you really can't stop training, can you, Hawkeye? No, Spidey. Why? Hawkeye, because I don't. Spidey, don't miss. Yeah, got it. Whatever. Hawkeye, I mean, I can't miss. Spidey, what does that mean? Hawkeye, I'm on a team with superhumans and one god, in case you forgot. Even you, well, you climb walls really well. Spidey, thanks, Hawkeye. The training is the only thing that makes me special. If I'm not special, then none of this is worth it. I don't follow, says Spidey. Then Clint, I gave up a lot for this life. I could have been happy with Mockingbird, Bobby. I could have had a good, simple life, but I wanted to play with the big boys. If I miss, it just means I'm just another dude with a bow. It means I've been fooling myself this whole time. And that's why I never miss. And he goes for all these. Look, I understand what you mean. Even I, Spidey. Hold it. We've got something. Spider-Man. Did I get him? Spider-Man. What's a sit rep? Is Sidewinder down? Come on, answer me.
I knew that was Sidewinder.
Forget it, you nerd.
I love the Serpent Society. That's such an 80s supervillain group.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
With Cap,
I got it. Nailed him. Ha, nailed it. Sorry, pal. Too slow. Why are you an Avenger again? Now we know why Cap plays together. I guess
nerd.
you did know what he was doing, huh? Yeah, I guess so, buddy.
Spidey should never be an Avenger.
Oh,
no, I agree.
We should
That's
be, but that
beautiful.
is hilarious. Seriously, that is funny.
That was from a series, Avenging Spider-Man, where every issue would have Spider-Man team up with a different Avenger for an issue, and that was like them doing Hawkeye.
There's Hawkeye's most glorious costume.
Yeah. That's from Star Trek: The Next Generation, the first season.
No, this was Avengers number 100. Barry Windsor Smith, believe it or not, when he was Barry Smith, and glad this one didn't last too long.
There's a lot of Legion of Superheroes costumes from the 70s that are like that too, like Cosmic Boys. Yeah.
Real quick, I'm going to answer this
don't
for
even know
Vistra.
Go ahead.
Vistra. The original Eternals comic book, me, Mark D. with the C, and Clobber, and on Clobber's Show, we did a review on the original Jack Kirby run. One, you should watch that stream. It was a great stream. Two, it was a comic book worth reading. It's 19 issues plus one annual, which makes 20 issues. There's hardcovers and paperbacks out there. Definitely worth it. It's a solid book. Give it a read. And then Darth Scipio said, do you or any of the panels have a collection of the heavy metal mag of the 80s? I have like 1980s and 1985 issues. You guys want to chime in or no?
I
can go first.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
Whoever's got something.
I think I have about 25 or 30 of those issues from the early 80s. That was one of those those books that, in my teenage years, I tried to hide from my father because there was a lot of titties. Boobs. No, wait, can I say that on our chat? Can I say boobs?
Say whatever you want.
Yeah, they were fapping material back in the 80s. Absolutely. That was a great book. There's some, I hate to say it, but in current years, you can pick up a lot of those issues in auctions really cheap because a lot of those of us who are a little bit older that collected those magazines are getting rid of them because they're so upset with the direction that the company has taken in the last few years. Suffice it to say that it's very woke SJW. They're getting rid of what made them big. What made the whole point behind that magazine, that science fiction magazine, was out there stories. It's like, just think about those weird out there science fiction stories that were so awesome in the 80s, back before the internet, where we can go and everybody was writing about their science fiction characters or, 50 Shades of Grey stuff. But we got those magazines back then when it was really an eye-opening way to open the door to science fiction. So yeah, I've got a bunch of those issues, and they're downstairs in a box, and every once in a while I'll pull one out. The Heavy Metal movie was way ahead of its time. That soundtrack is one of the best soundtracks of all time. So yeah, love Heavy Metal. I wish I had the whole collection, but I think it's 300 or 400 issues now. Is it 400 issues now or 300? But
I don't even know.
Yeah, and in the last several years, it's not been as good as it used to be. But now there's so many outlets for great science fiction authors to get their story out there that it's kind of gone downhill. And plus, it's not the adult content it used to be. But yeah, those early '80s heavy metal magazines, man. Sharpen my teeth on those mags. Boobs.
Like,
you had me at boobs. Is that what you were saying, Mark?
Yeah. Well, my friend recorded heavy metal off of one of the cable channels. Late night. It was impossible to get for many years, or unless you went to the cons. Like, you couldn't buy it. So I think we wore that tape out on VHS, and of course,
the VHS tape I think was like $80 or something to buy.
Well, this was a copy. This was a copy. Like, my buddy stayed up, and caught it when it was on. One of the streaming services real late, and he was the only one that had it. So it's like, we'd watch it a few times a month. I don't know how many hundreds of times we watched that tape. It was like a running joke, because you couldn't get stuff back in the day. I mean, it was, plus $80 for a bunch of high schoolers. Forget it. That's crazy, So, but incredible movie if you haven't seen it. It's just and Nick, you must have seen Heavy Metal, the movie, right? Or
I have. It's been a while, but I
have. Because I know the music. Yeah, you would love that music, I'm sure. Yeah. So,
God, I've seen that. So good. All right, before we carry on with this Hawkeye stuff. Bilbo Baggins here with $5. It's been like an hour since we've seen Captain Marvel eat fists. Good sir, if you please. With pleasure, Bilbo Baggins. And you know what? In fact, I'll give you a bonus just for that. Consider that my charity punch.
Nice.
All right?
Nice.
And so there's your answer, V-Straw and Dart Scipio. Hopefully you guys are happy with those. Go on, Clobby.
I was going to say, this was a strange time for Clint Barton when he became Goliath for a while in the Avengers. When Hank Pym turned into Yellow Jacket, he filled in for him as the giant man-type character Goliath. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I knew
Goliath
about
for a while. Yep. Took over Hank Pym in the series. This, of course, is in the Silver into the Bronze Age there for a while until Avengers 100 when he switched back to being Hawkeye. Later, actually, he did it again. Later, for a short time, he became Goliath again. Was that in Thunderbolts or one of those comics? I don't know which one it was, but I don't think it was an Avengers book. But
he was using beam particles, right?
He used basically
it was Pym particles.
Took it from Hank. It was Pym what he was using at the time. Yes.
Yep.
Well, okay. Physical problems too, didn't it?
Yep.
This was when Hank Pym actually became, you know what I mean. He was not that tender with his wife.
Oh, you're talking Hank Pym when he assaulted his wife.
Oh, that was Hank Pym was an abuser.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I liked him in Yellow Jacket.
I don't know if YouTube allows that, but
yeah. No, you're right. They went a little far with that. And he was Goliath in the Pre-Skrull War. That's right. He was Goliath up until Avengers 100.
Yeah. And to Marvel's credit, they could have when they revealed that Hank Pym was a Skrull during Secret Invasion, they could have gone and retconned that was the Skrull Hank Pym that hit his wife and hit Janet Van Dyne. Mm-hmm. And no, they stuck to the guns and said no, this was him. This was a bad thing he did, and it's part of his history. Mm-hmm. It added that complexity, and I think it's a good thing they kept that with him.
You had the whole Giant Man Goliath storyline too, and I actually liked it when Giant Man / Goliath, whatever, wasn't Hank Pym. I think that Hank Pym was kind of the Ant-Man character, and I think that they kind of a little bit retconned it by saying that because of his shrinking and growing and stuff, it caused a mental imbalance in his head that got him to be abusive and violent. They that was like a one-liner in an Avengers issue, several years ago. I remember reading it, and it was kind of like this one-off. I think that if you're going to take that story and you're going to go down that path, which is very dark for a superhero and a very adult story, that you own up to it. If you're going to, because it's obviously very common in our society for men and women to abuse their partner. It's rare for women, absolutely, because usually men are more physically superior. In air quotes when I say superior, but it does happen the other way as well. However, I think it was kind of an adult storyline where domestic abuse is very common. As a man on patrol, as a general duty member, that was something that I dealt with pretty much every night, where there was a domestic assault case that I had to deal with. So it's very common. It was an adult story. I didn't like it in my comic books, just like I don't like a lot of the adult themes that are in the comic books nowadays. These are supposed to be for kids, supposedly. If they're going to go take that tact and say comic books are for kids, these kind of adult storylines that they're pushing today and then are tough. But I thought it was a risk. And yeah, if you're going to do it, own up to it. Being a Skrull and writing it off by saying I'm a Skrull, I'm not sure that that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But I think it would have saved the character. I think you're right, Ironcaster. I think it might have been a good way to kind of slough that off. But yeah.
What I was saying is, I think it's more commendable to them for having kept it, that they
take
it away.
Yeah,
because I think it's better to not just simply say, oh, well, that was the bad guy that did that. Our heroes can't do bad things. Yeah. It's like when the mental instability from all the size changing. I think it was probably the best they could to push that idea. It was probably the best explanation they could have gone with.
No, yeah. This, by the way, I recommend this. You want to see a cool Hawkeye issue of Avengers. Remember this one? Burn. Yeah, this is.
I got to do an Avengers deep dive.
I wanted to say, that's the real issue when you have this kind of characters. If you wanna do that kind of topic, there's a space for them, and there's really a need for exploring some things like Iron Man was an alcoholic, and you have. All that storyline is really well managed. It has a lot of good parts. You need that if you are going to do something like that. You need to explore the character. You need to actually make the character face his demons. And that's something that I never see done on current series, on current movies. So it's too much for them. Maybe is something that they cannot control, and therefore they will not put on a screen, or they will do something like Netflix did with Cowboy Bebop and show directly abuse on the most comedical way possible.
Yeah, we need to have that? Sorry, Nick. Do we need to have that in our pop culture? Do we need to have that in our stories?
No.
Ironcaster, you're absolutely right. I agree with you 100%. Yeah. Pablo, you too. And I think that I remember at the time I hated that storyline, and I thought, this is my comic books. Why are you bringing this stuff up in my comic books? Right. I come from a single parent family. I come from a dad who raised me. And so I appreciate that domestic situation, and a large percentage of people in the world today have similar situations, but I go to read my comic books because I want escapism. Yeah. I don't want to see a domestic abuse case from my superheroes.
It was also
colors that character forever.
It was also handled much better with the main Marvel than it was in the Ultimate Comics, where it was just the worst possible thing you could have done with those characters. Where it was like, it's such a bad relationship where they just outright beat each other and abuse each other.
Don't one kill the other?
No, that the Blob ate Wasp.
Oh,
in
okay.
Ultimate Comics. Fuck Ultimate.
All right.
Ultimate.
I don't recognize his name, but I want to welcome Alaric Hirosen. Hello, sir.
Alaric. Hello there.
Good. Okay, cool. Well, welcome. It says, "Hail, comic fans! Love the comic panel. Thank you." R.I.P. Thor, R.I.P. And Marvel Comics saw us coming when Jason Aaron first sacrificed Thor on the SJW altar. Ain't that the truth? Well, hey, thank you for dropping in. Hopefully this has been fun for you to listen to, and I appreciate your input, and you couldn't be any more correct, my friend. Wow. Mark, I want to ask you something. You read a Thing comic book lately. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yep. So here's
thing. We'll zoom on your screen.
Yep. Thing number 1.
Here. Okay.
So it's called the next big thing.
So I see what they did there.
Yep. So Walter Mosley and Tom Riley is the artist. Mosley's famous for that. He took his issue of FF #1, and Clobberin Toms is the person who let me know about that. And he, blew up every panel into one page. Yeah. Maximum, thank you, Maximum FF.
Yes, sir.
So this is a really nice splash page. I think I really like that splash page. The art is maybe growing on me. Okay. It's kind of like, it's not my style. And like I said in my review that I have online, I'm like, I never want to say art is good or bad. I mean, you can say that, but stuff kind of grows on you after a while too. I think once you get into that, when you get used to what the artist is doing, and as a person, sometimes you say, I just don't like that. It's not for me. But it kind of grows on you a little bit. But what's happening in this character? Not too many spoilers, but this character. I don't know who this character is yet, or we won't say. But he's controlling the Thing and other characters, so they're acting not like themselves. They're, basically possessed by an evil spirit. So, the Thing is this is the old neighborhood in Brooklyn, I guess, and
Yancey Street.
Well, they said Brooklyn, so I think
they did say. What'd you think of the story, though? So I picked that up myself.
Yeah.
And what did you think of the story, Mark?
So far, I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
But, I'm not liking the direction they're going. But I'll, of course, I'm kind of biased towards the Thing, which you might guess. From my hat.
Oh, yeah. You don't say.
Never. You don't say. So, like, this art is actually looking a little bit better now. When I first saw it, I didn't really like it that much, but it's kind of getting the artist vibe there. Of course, I know what Ben Grimm needs a hat for. He's made of stone, but that's all fun. And if you go fishing, I fish a lot. It's like you're not carrying your fish back in a bag like that. They're gonna in the fishing net. They're gonna start to smell pretty badly. So, I mean, that's just silly stuff. Of course, you got the great Willie Lumpkin there in this page. And then what's happening is, Thing gets really jealous because, Alicia is walking with a guy who was showing her to an art gallery. So he's, the evil force is, manipulating him. And I'll just show a couple more pages. But then this this page really pissed me off because then the guy that's, the Thing gets upset or is, challenging the guy. And then the guy pepper sprays the Thing. Yeah. And I'm like, come on, you can't pepper spray the Thing. I mean, he's got to have, rocks for eyes or something, right? So he flashes out and he hits the car. Dumb. And then, the NYPD superhero squad, shows up. And
pretty quick, by the way.
Pretty quick, yeah. And, he puts his hands out there going, I guess, that's like the Thing would say, okay, you can arrest me, like superheroes would do. And then the guy sprays like, this little can of whatever the heck he's got and knocks the Thing out in a couple of seconds. It's like, wait a minute, he fought the champion. You're not going to take a spray can and knock my buddy out like that. I mean, come on. So
wait, you are saying that these dark presence make the heroes basically act like Red Diablo toxic waste of a character? So basically, is Kevin Feige being presented on the comics?
Well, you could use that as an interpretation. Yep.
Sure seems like Rudy. It, doesn't it? Yeah, right? But, no, Rudy's spot on.
Do you know how much I like this issue?
I'm guessing I guessing you rated it pretty lowly, LT.
I sent an email to my comic shop and I said cancel the 2, 3, and 4 issues that I had ordered already pre-ordered. I canceled it right away. That's how bad I like that issue. I thought it was awful. That wasn't the Thing. He gets in a domestic. It's funny we're talking about domestics tonight. He gets in a domestic situation with his true love. He causes damage to the city. He goes through this journey that's dark. Like, this is not the Thing comic. I want to read Marvel 2-in-1. I want to read the classic, where he hits up with Power Man and Iron Fist, or the Champion, or like you said, or something like that, and he goes on adventures where he beats on bad guys, not going through a domestic abuse situation and this whole it was just a dark, terrible journey for Ben Grimm. It was an awful issue.
Val, it's funny you mentioned that because I can't believe I'm saying this, but before Dan Slott went completely insane about like around that series he did that only lasted 7 or 8 issues, was a lot of fun. It was all about Ben. I liked it anyway. It was like 7 or 8 issues called The Thing. It got canceled because I was liking it. It was before, and it was so not like this. It was just he was completely in character, and he was. It just I don't know.
Yeah, when Reed Richards, when Reed has to come and spring you out of jail and pay your bond, your bail, to get you out of jail because you were domestically beating on your fiance. It just
he never hit her though.
No, that's right. Clarify. But it was mental abuse.
I think she's being controlled by the character though too.
Yeah, well, they probably
I think everyone is. Yeah, I think everyone is being manipulated. So I get, but that's why I didn't want to see that in a Thing comic. I haven't got this yet.
Friend picked it up. I'll read that with you, and then that's it. I may not go for another issue after.
Now the covers, there's 3 or 4 covers that are outstanding. Like a couple of them are really cool, and I'll be honest, that's kind of what drew me in. And the character, I like the character too. I think there's the 3 of us here are really a big Thing fan.
Yeah. We all love Ben Grimm.
We all love Ben.
We all love the Grimm here.
This is the panel here, and she's like, don't touch me. The ring is on the counter.
Yeah, don't touch me.
Guys
Yep.
But it's
funny because
they're all being manipulated there. But I wanted a fun kind of Thing journey. So Court maybe it'll redeem itself in the end. Of course, at the end, this guy's getting jealous because of the date that the Thing's on. It's like she's mine.
So basically, it's new Marvel.
Oh. Yep. Yeah, and
I like Walter Mosley. Seemed like a cool dude, but
he's a very, very cool.
Although
dude,
he said some dumb things, I'll leave it at that.
It's a whole no touch without consent thing. It's like that latest episode of Supergirl. The finale of Supergirl was the same thing. That. They're all fighting, and Chyler Leigh there says to the supervillain, "No touch without consent," and I'm like, facepalm, right? You go, oh,
supervillain facepalm.
You're a supervillain's trying to fight you, and you're saying no touch without consent. Like, really?
So I think this is how LT felt about this issue. So I'm working on an icon for to use, but pain, right?
Yeah, that's
I found
pretty
that while bagging and boarding my comics. So this is how. So this is some more Captain Marvel. Sorry about that. But, this is from 2012. So Kelly Sue DeConnick.
Now we need to see her face punch. We need to see her face punch.
I just outed myself. So
there you go.
All right, yeah. Wow. I'll do our charity one for that one. This one's on me.
I think that's the best looking Captain Marvel I've ever seen right there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make icons. We can all change her. I've been working on Photoshop the whole time to do an icon for that cover. So maybe by the end of the show we could all change our icons to that.
Well, that's
avatars.
Unfortunately, it's gonna be the part where we're at to wrap up. It's a little slightly short. It's a half hour shorter than we normally do. Half hour, 40 minutes. Because obviously, 1, I started 15 minutes late, but 2, I did promise Sir J.M. Cruz from the Philippines I would link up with him later tonight at like 11:45, 11:50. Cool. Around there. He wanted to talk about Feng Shui, so I agree. We could talk about some furniture and the 10 rings, and we're going to talk about furniture. It's going to be good, and this is my one-time exception for, doing that. But so next week we're gonna do a skip week, and then we'll be back to normal schedule the week after. So we've been on a good stride doing those 2 straight months of us being every Friday. Usually it was like one skip, a month, but we've been on 2 straight months of this being a constant, which has been great. I think we are all enjoying the stride, but we're finally having a skip because I got some family stuff to take care of. Nothing bad. Just with the whole season going on, I need that extra this next week to get things ahead. But after that, the rest of December, Friday Night Comic Shop Talk, we're gonna be smooth sailing. I mean, we've really made a nice following here on this little stream, this little chill stream we do on Friday night. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, and we'll figure out the topic when we get to that point. But thank you all for the chats, the tips you sent, for all those who stuck around the chat too. Seriously, you guys, we got to 25 people at one point. Freaking badass. Nice. So thank you all. I appreciate it.
Excellent.
I look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks. You're forgiven. Peace. Night, guys. Night, all. I try to make it, dude. Hey, don't worry about it, Rudy. I know you've been trying, dude. don't stress it, man. You come out here and you support the channel a lot, so that alone that's support. So I appreciate that. Thank you, though. I'm gonna let these gentlemen plug because tomorrow afternoon I got a short stream I'm gonna be doing with Google 13 as well. We're gonna be talking about Christmas gifts, so that should be good. Cool. And yeah, like I said, I got J.M. Cruz. We'll be talking Feng Shui and the 10 rings on the couches, so that'll be good. Be doing that an hour and a half, hour and 15, something like that. Take care. Yeah, you have a good night, Dart Scipio, Philbo as well. Jam, I'll be seeing you soon. And I got a food video coming. Apple pie toast crunch. Brace yourself.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll have it out tomorrow. So you'll see that. And I should hopefully have the Exodus review as well done too. So anyways, I'll let you guys plug in your channels. Pablo, sound off, my friend.
Well, my channel is Geek Topology. I swear I'm trying to do something there. Also, Midnight Edge Espanol. We just did a review of Masters of the Universe Revelation. The revelation is that it sucks. There's not a huge revelation.
That's a revelation.
There's literally Evelyn tells Adam that she has a bigger sword than him. So,
oh my God!
Wow.
Also, the final savior is, guess, Tila comes from the sky, redeems Evelyn, turns her good, and everything is forgiven. So Evelyn, after trying to destroy the universe, she's good now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Nice. That's nice and sweet. The way it should be, right?
All right, Pablo. Thank you, as always, my friend. We will do this again in 2 weeks. You have a good rest of your weekend, all right?
You too, man. I'm really happy to be here.
I'm happy you're always here, dude. All right, be well, my friend. Lord Thoth.
I'll be quick so you can get going. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We had a great chat. It's fun talking about comic books, and picking one character in particular was a lot of fun, going back into the classic origins of one Avenger, and we got to see how good he was and how bad he is now. That TV show was awful. So thank you for letting me be a part of it. Thank you for the invite tonight, Flava Flavs, and my esteemed panelists here, an outstanding group of people. If you were smart out there in the chat, that you would subscribe to these peeps and listen to their channels, because they're awesome. Looking forward to Star Trek tomorrow night, Quabby, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you very much, chat.
Yeah, thank you, Lord Thoth. I'll look for it, as always. You're always welcome on here, and if I'm lucky, I'll have you around here in 2 weeks. If I don't, you have a good weekend, my friend, and enjoy some fancy drinks for me, because I know you're already good at that. But I just want to be able to have the cool privilege of saying that. So
Will do.
All right. Ironcaster.
Hey there. I, of course, am Ironcaster, and I'd like to talk about some big robots. And also, apparently, some lovely comic covers. Such as this.
Lovely indeed.
Ooh,
Party
very
on.
toxic. Very toxic.
So on my on Tuesdays on my channel, I am going through the 1979 anime Mobile Suit Gundam with a couple of other people, and tomorrow you can find me over on the Week in Geek, over on T-Shirt Historians, where we've got to talk about some stuff involving some Hasbro properties and a little bit of some companies that are working on those that aren't Wizards of the Coast.
Nice, dude. Awesome. Well, sir, thank you as always. Hopefully I'll see you again soon. Have a good weekend. You be well. And now
my cereal. Watch your cereal review.
Ironcaster right here, Subgoose channel, guys. And Keely Chow, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. This is where you can sub to Ironcaster. Now, the man himself, he can speak.
Thanks for having me here, buddy. Always a pleasure. We love hanging out with you and talking comics, brother. What a great panel. What a great bunch of guys. I just, let's see here, tomorrow night or Saturday night, Star Trek, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, with a very, very special episode. If you've been following it, and of course, we're reviewing season 4 of Star Trek: The Next Generation. We're only reviewing real Trek on our channel, and Got a long way to go, but tomorrow night is super special. And then Monday night Mark C Comics Talk, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll be Spinner Rack Time Machine November 1971 wrap up, and then but with some other types of comics talk thrown in there as well. Sherry, look at Sherry. Lovely Sherry's here.
Yeah,
Sherry.
she is.
Beautiful.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi,
Beautiful
Sherry.
as always. Lovely to see you, my dear.
All right, killer. Well, Clobberin, thank you, my friend. Always love having you on. You are one of the best.
Thank you,
all
bro.
there are these amazing gentlemen on here. You have a good weekend.
Thanks,
and
bud.
we'll see you soon. And now, last but absolutely not least, Mark D with a C.
Thanks for having me. Is this better if I do this? How's
that?
Oh,
that's perfect.
Does that look good? So so I had just dropped a video this week, reviewing the Thing comic. If you want to go into more detail, and Klobby and I, I'm sure we'll go into even more detail on his show when he reads it. I'm on the Clubhouse on Thursday night with Clobbering Times, and look for my Sunday night show, late night. Sunday Night Geekery, and I'm dropping an enabling video very soon, with some of the Black Friday deals, so trying to cost you money. So appreciate being on, lots of fun, and I hope everyone has recovered from Thanksgiving that's here in the States. I'm making my turkey soup today, so that'll hold me over. But and don't get a headache like Carol Danvers here.
Oh, I love it. Awesome. Well, Mark, thank you as always, my friend. You have yourself a fantastic weekend, and we will do this again shortly. Also, I added you to the Comic Shop Talk group, so you're always welcome on here, my friend.
Great.
So
Thank you.
Appreciate that. You are amongst the boys.
Awesome.
All right, guys. This is the part where I shut the hell up. No, actually, I lied. I don't shut the hell up. We're ready to go back to our theme song. So you guys, good night, good fight. I'll be on Jam Cruise if you want to listen to us talk about furniture and feng shui. Or you can go to the cocktail lounge. Either way, have your choice. Pick your poison. They're all good. Till we all do this again, we'll see you back in 2 weeks. Na 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 na.